places, everyone. Sup? Hey, hi, hello. My name is Casey Michelle, your favorite breathwork facilitator, and today we're diving into a little bit of a topic that makes me nervous, but we're talking about love life and romance and breathwork and how, gosh, this could be a 20-minute long video, and how those two have interacted and intertwined in my life and my personal journey with those two parts of my life. If you didn't know, I've been a breathwork facilitator for the past 4 years and have helped a ton of people. It's the most rewarding thing I think I've ever done in my life, honestly, to look up and think about how many people I've shared the space with and how many opportunities have come through such like wholesome work, and the people that I've attracted, which we'll get into, just through doing this work is like incredible. So if that's something you want to support, I need this video to get a thumbs up from you right now so we can reach more people and get more exposure to the power of the breath. It's free and accessible and with you all the time. And I really just want that message itself to be spread, because we're so conditioned to reach outside of ourselves to be complete, or go to the doctor or go to the store, but you really have this super powerful free tool with you right under your nose, literally right now. So give this video a thumbs up, sit back, relax, let's get cozy. We're gonna talk love life and breath. Here we go. I'm really just like, how do I want to begin this video? When I discovered breathwork, I was in a relationship that was wonderful in many ways. Honestly, it was a really great relationship. But I think when I reflect on it now, I realize how much I was censoring myself in that relationship. And I don't know if anyone can relate, but I had a pattern of kind of molding into whoever I was dating. Whatever their lifestyle it was, I kind of just like blended into it. I'm like, yeah, this is cool, I'm into this too. I'm not into it, so like, I'll get really into it with you. And kind of, in a sense, losing myself in that process. And at the time when I was first practicing breathwork, I was in that relationship where I was really, you know, overall happy. He was a great guy, but I wasn't really fully showing up as my most authentic self, like my true nature self. I feel like there was a lot of me that I was like kind of hiding in fear of being judged, or really kind of almost an inner knowing of like, if that true part of me comes out, I'll probably lose this relationship with this person. It probably will take a different turn. And that was really scary. So I kind of like tucked that away. I was at the time really starting to get deeper into spirituality. I think I've like been into like kind of the surface level things for a long time now. Honestly, probably since like 8th grade, I've been like into, you know, yoga and crystals and essential oils and like the natural ways of living and going vegan, all that stuff. But during this time, I was like, I'm ready to actually do the work. Like that stuff's cute, and it is cute, but I'm ready to get dirty. And so it was an undeniable series of events that was happening. And granted, I've talked about it a lot, but there was a lot of things that were starting to unfold. I've mentioned this before, but I was working in the film industry, working 60-hour work weeks, and that slowly started to fade away. And then I started to not want to wear makeup anymore. And then I started to want to get rid of literally everything I owned. And I ended up moving into a van, but that was fast forward after this relationship. And just, yeah, these weren't things that I just woke up and, you know, I'm gonna do this. It just naturally, the want to want started to decrease. I didn't want to do those things. There was no interest, and there's no better feeling than not needing. I've mentioned that a bunch. At the time, you know, I'm just like in the breath, kind of not really even realizing what's happening. But slowly and surely, this person and I were like growing apart. And granted, it was sad. I'm not saying it wasn't sad, but there was so much like wholeness that I was discovering in myself that I just didn't even know was possible. Because again, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, when you get dependent on these external sources, no matter what they are, from music to people to over-the-counter drugs, doctors to family members, whatever that external source is, you really do lose sight of that inner source. As like foo-foo-y as that might sound, like through breath work, it's like undeniable. You cannot deny the power of the breath. When you realize like, whoa, just taking 3 breaths completely shifts my whole energy. Or taking 10 fast breaths and then pausing, I can literally reach that runner's high euphoric feeling like that. Like I have everything I need within to shift and change and manifest and create. I don't really need as much as I think I need. That's the mentality that just like slowly started to come into my lifestyle. Once I started to peel back those layers and allow my body to process emotions and release emotions, or release anything, tension, joy. We hear emotions and you just think I'm sitting in my room crying, but really just connecting to spirit, I really started to feel this fullness and this wholeness. In that, it has manifested a completely different reality in my life of the wholesome people that I'm surrounded by. I think back to that time in my life, I didn't even know the value of community or what that even really meant. And through breathwork, I discovered what community even means. And through community, I realized like my relationship with myself truly does dictate the relationships I have with other people, and kind of opened what relationship even means in so many facets. But just like in regards to love, really, taking more responsibility, I think is what breathwork brought into my love life more than anything. I think there's no end to the blame game. You can play victim all day long, and I totally have. I'm not saying I never have and never will ever again, but like when I think about my past self in regards to love and romance, it was a lot of finger pointing or overcompensating, like over taking the blame, and not allowing anybody else to take responsibility for their actions, just totally being the people pleaser, like, oh, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. And so I think taking responsibility of my reality, I'm not saying I can control my reality, but the one thing I can control is my breath. Not letting life necessarily control me is kind of what breathwork has brought into that picture. So I think a lot of times in dating and relationships, sometimes, you confuse attention with affection, with infatuation, with love, with whatever else, other words you want to insert there. I think I just built a better discernment because I got to know myself more. I feel like, the word breath literally translates to spirit. So by building this relationship with my own spirit and with my own self, like really getting to know me, which is an ongoing process, obviously, but like knowing me before I take the time to really get to know somebody else, and I know we hear that all the time, like you got to do the inner work, you got to start with you got to work on yourself first. Biased opinion, I just feel like you don't really know you until you know how you feel when you take deep breaths, when you're really in some slow 2-mo breaths continuously, when you're really allowing the body to release that tension and let go and soften and just completely surrender. And you learn to really hold that space for yourself, like I previously talked about in a couple videos back. Learning to hold space for myself and allowing my feminine energy to be held by me in my own masculine transformed the love life of mine. I can wholeheartedly say that I started to attract partners and people in my life in general that I felt like I could be this well-rounded person around. I didn't have to choose masculine or feminine or guarded or open or flowy. Granted, there's still discernment in spaces where I'm a little bit more protective or whatever. But having just this like kind of full scope of myself through sitting for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes in my breath, like just for that duration of time daily, like really taking the time out of every single day to dedicate an hour to yourself, let alone 30 minutes, let alone 20. But for me personally, I was taking and still do an hour out of every single day for me, like nothing else. My phone is on airplane mode. I cannot be reached for 60 minutes because I am checking in with me. Filling my belly, emptying my belly, practicing literally what it feels like to let go through an exhale, like starting to enjoy that process. Like inhale and exhale, tension and release, holding on, letting go, they're all synonymous and they all translate to every part of our life. So I really do think the energy of practicing holding on, letting go, holding on, letting go, makes that muscle stronger for all the parts of your life where you might have to do that, where you have to learn how to hold on and how to let go and how to release and how to tense up. It is an energetic muscle in that sense. And yeah, I would say now, fast forward a lot of years later, and I'm like very, very content with the woman that I am. Not saying that I have no flaws and that I don't have areas to improve on, of course, but I think I'm like really comfortable being me. And that is something I'm so proud of, a privilege and an honor. Granted, it's not like there's not spaces where I'm uncomfortable. But I think in general, when I'm meeting someone or engaging with someone in the romantic sense, there's a lot more of me that's like, well, this is me. Like some parts of me is just Casey, and I'm not like bypassing areas that don't need improvement. It's not like that kind of, this is me, deal with it. It's like my true nature. Like I really understand what makes me tick, what makes me feel loved, what makes me feel scared, what makes me feel safe. Like I've really taken the time to get to know me through breathwork, and it's allowed just an overall different pace when it comes to love too. Like again, you're literally practicing to slow down and be in your rest and digest way more consciously. So that energy translates and transfers into your love life and into your relationships, into your dynamics overall in life. So really taking things slow and really like assessing situations as they come, and a lot more ease and less effort, you know, overall. In that, I think I have manifested insanely beautiful relationships, romantic, platonic. Even in my family, I've seen a lot of growth. I really do think it is from building this patience with myself. I'm able to have a lot more patience with others. By holding space for myself, I am able to understand when I'm not able to hold space for others and when I am. And I'm a lot better at holding the space for others. And I think I've built a strong discernment and a kind of overall like knowledge of myself to know, okay, I gotta speak up here, or I'm not comfortable with this, or I really love this kind of engagement. Here's the sun. But really making it a point to notice my masculine and feminine energy, my guard, my openness, really step into the observer a bit more than maybe I would have. In the past, there was a lot more attachment and fixation on what wasn't or what could be, or what I was doing or what I wasn't doing, and my partner. And like I said, censoring myself even within that, like not really celebrating all the parts of me that make up me. Gosh, I've had some breathwork sessions where I literally feel all the people I've ever loved, like literally all at once. And sometimes it's so like, whoa, you know, but it's full of like gratitude, whoa, of like, oh my God, I'm able to experience love on so many different forms and loss on so many different forms. And to be able to experience that in this lifetime is honestly a gift. And I think it's just changed my perspective in general on that alone, of like choosing gratitude over everything. It's been a journey, of course, and there's ebbs and flows, and I don't have anything absolute or figured out at all, so don't look at me like I do, but I'm a lot more comfortable in myself in love these days versus who I was before breathwork happened. I was definitely mirroring to a point of losing myself in relationships, and now I can wholeheartedly say that I really stand on my own 2 feet, and the people in my life stand on their own 2 feet, and we just stand next to each other and we support each other. We might lean on each other, but I still have my own 2 feet to stand on. And that feels really good to say. Proud of the woman I have become and I'm still becoming. This video was a little different. It was a little mushy. It was a little personal, but I just wanted to open that up and talk about it. If anyone has any experience with this or wants to share anything about this, I would love to hear your perspective and your story. I honestly was going to dive into sex and breath work, which is a whole other topic, but we didn't have enough time today. But if that's something you want to talk about, we can maybe talk about it. Let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in, just the overall like sexual freedom of my body and sexuality and exchanges that I now experience in this space versus the partners I was attracting back then. If you want to talk about that, we could talk about it. Let me know. But that's it for this video. Sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace.